evening.
Hello.
Welcome to another exciting show. Oh, I'm so excited. Well, welcome everybody. And YouTube been playing their usual trick. This is actually 8 o'clock Monday evening, and they've put down that it's 4 o'clock Tuesday morning, which nobody would be actually watching. And the reason why, for some unknown reason, I think it might be something to do with StreamYard, they put me down as Pacific Standard Time. So, so if you're watching in the Pacific, Anyway, it's very rude of me. I'm waffling on here. I'll introduce my guest, who's got a very strange name. Her first name is The, and surname is Crystal Boutique UK, which is very strange. We'll have our problems. No, it's actually Hayley. Hello, Hayley.
Hello. Thank you for having me back.
Oh, that's all right. I'm friendly. I haven't seen you for a long time, have I?
No, it's been a while.
Yeah, it was only Sunday. And anyway, we've got some call-outs to do, first of all. And also we're going to honour our gracious leader a little bit later. I do hope you will be saluting, will you? And please, everybody who's watching, please stand to attention to honour our generous, gracious lead with a B. Right, first of all, we'd like to do some, and this is where the crystals come in. Lee. Now, Lee, putting it bluntly, fell arse over tit and cracked her, or did something to her hip. And I think I've said that politely enough, haven't I, Hayley? Yeah. And poor woman, we haven't seen her for weeks, have we? And so we hang on, do you want some soft tinkly music for Lee? Here's some soft tinkly music. Hang on, where is it? I've lost it. For Lee, and it's healing music. We hope to see Lee back very soon. Okay, because she's named after the local river, so we've got to have her back. So wish your hip back. Wish your hip better, shall we say. So there we go. And I'm a bit tired tonight because I was going to say I've been having an erection in the garden, but it's an erection the fence in a garden, you see. So people have got very rude minds, haven't they? My audience has got a filthy mind, I'm just erecting a fence, and my logo is satisfaction guarantee with every erection. Is there? I mean, well, nothing rude there. Hayley, what a dirty mind you've got. In front of a young innocent man like myself, and now I've been putting a fence up, and it took 4 of us to get it, because it's concrete posts, to lift it up and slide it in. And we said, oh dear, this is a problem getting it in, but not exactly in those words, shall we say. Right, and also the next call out, you're thinking, when are you going to get on with this bleeding program? It's our good old friend John Richardson. Now, if you'd like to put a comment, this show the next day goes on to my BitShoot channel, which is below here. So it's not under my table, it's underneath the video. And if you go to my BitShoot channel, I'd like to thank Sue, who's actually written a very nice note to him, because John Richardson is actually in, we'll call it Siam. I think we know where Siam is, because what's happened is, it's renamed a long time ago, is he's the only Brit there. Sorry, town crier. Englishman there who's against the old, and he's being turned on by his colleagues and people like that, because they're very compliant there. So he's very much alone, and it's all right for us because we've got stand in the park, but he hasn't got any of that round where he is. He's all on his own. So come on, let's all say good old John, and here we are. So if you could write some really nice comments, he wrote some fantastic comments to us. He likes the program. and I think it's a lifeline. So thank you, Sue, for writing a comment on it. He really thought the world of that. So if anybody else could write some comments, but remember, not on YouTube, because he writes a comment and YouTube erases it.
Does he watch this show? Will he watch this show on BitChute?
Yes.
Okay, I'll talk to him now then. Hi, John, who's obviously going to be watching this on BitChute, as Chris has just said. I think what you're doing is fantastic, by the way. What a stand. One man on your own, and you're still going strong. And honestly, the courage that takes and the bravery that it takes to stand in your own truth and not budge just because everyone else is doing the same thing, it takes tremendous strength. And we are all thinking about you. We're all here for you. Maybe not, physically in the same room, but, you've got a little family over here, all supportive of you, and just hang on in there, keep going. And you will honestly, you've done something so brave for yourself, and you should be really proud of yourself. And we're all really proud of you as well. So yeah, just keep it going, and try and keep your spirits as high as possible, and don't let the bastards get you down.
Well, there's a thumbs up from me, and I second that. And that was put over far better than I could put it over. Thanks, Hayley. That really is terrific. And I think you had a situation here, because remember, we're on YouTube, so we've got to be a bit hang on. It's Fluffy Bunny and Taps Dancing Hamsters on YouTube, you see. And remember, John can't respond on YouTube. You'll be on my BitChute channel, and the same program is put on there. But you had a very nice experience in an ice cream parlor, I believe. And you're very brave. It took a heck of a lot of guts to do what you did. And you went to buy your favourite ice cream. It's a pity we haven't had time. We could have put that on here, couldn't we? Put it on another time. But you actually recorded it. It was on screen. And so we've all seen it. And do you want to talk about it, or should we just briefly touch on it?
Yeah, no problem. So at the weekend, I went to London to watch a show, and that all went fine. There was no problem with that. Got in, no restrictions. Everything was going fine. But this wasn't really it kind of was a roll-on effect of this whole situation that's going on in the world at the moment. But this certain shop, which was called Amarino, I have no problem mentioning it. There's a few around, so it's difficult to remember which actual store it was. However, I might find out.
Allegedly.
Yeah, so I went into the store, and I just asked for 2 ice creams. It comes to £10, which is excessive anyway, but I wanted to pay the £10. Yeah, I know. And I had exactly one £10 note, which I was trying to pay. I didn't want any change, I didn't want anything. And basically they refused to take it, and they said they were card only, which I said, okay, but I don't have any cards with me. I just have this £10 note. So I want to pay you with this note. And they kept on refusing. So I just said, so I'm standing in the UK with a Bank of England note. This is the Great British Pound note. And you're telling me that I can't pay with legal tender. And they said, yeah. So I whipped out my phone, got it all confirmed on there. And then, I don't know, I think it was the taking my phone out that triggered about 5 customers in the shop, because then all of them were like, what is your remedy? What's the law and all this sort of thing? And I was trying to stand my ground and say, look, I'm just trying to pay for something with legal tender, and it's exactly the right change. I don't want any money back. And they're basically just saying that they don't want to accept it, but for no reason other than they're just being difficult. So yeah, I tried to stand my ground on that one. I didn't get my favorite ice cream, but it is a bit of a whatever. However, it's the principle.
I 100% agree with you. You certainly got guts, and I admire you. You stood your ground. What got me is how the people ganged up against you.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, yes, I'll back you. And there's a fella, I think he was doing a rabies impersonation, wasn't he? Because he had all froth around his mouth. So he was sort of still and
I didn't want to leave the store until they accepted it, but it got to the point where they were just like, we're not going to. And then, but the frustrating thing is I had other customers trying to push me out of the way to say, I'm trying to pay. And I was like, well, so am I. But I'm just trying to pay with a £10 note. And they were like, yeah, but you can't. I was like, well, I can. So it was a bit of like a backward and forward forever. Yeah, and the guy who's actually come up to me and told me to go to a different ice cream shop and go somewhere else, and which is quite discriminative because I don't have a card to pay with. Basically, yeah, he had chocolate all around his mouth. It was just, I was really trying hard not to say anything because, you know, I don't like getting personal spiteful or anything like that. It wasn't a personal matter. It was just a business transaction that somebody was refusing with no grounds. But it was very difficult. So at the end, I kind of might have thrown in that, you know, just wipe your mouth before you start having a go at me because you look a bit ridiculous. I shouldn't have said it, but I'm sorry. There were worse things I could have said, but yeah.
Well, I used to work with a bloke. I don't know if you've ever heard of that chap, Sir Les Patterson, Australian cultural attaché. Have you ever heard of that? He was what was his name now? Barry Humphries, I think it was. And he used to do an act called Sir Les Patterson, and this fellow was absolutely disgusting. His trousers was all, everything was, you know, and you say, "Hello, everybody, I'm from the Australian cultural attaché." And as he spoke, there's all this sort of dribble coming down the side of his mouth, and he did it deliberately as part of the act. Well, I used to work with a bloke who you could have called Sir Les Patterson. And one morning I went to work and I was feeling a bit queasy. I just couldn't talk to him. I was going to throw up. He's talking, he's got all this sort of...
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get on with the show because, by the way, you've got lots of people backing you here. And I think people are rather shocked about...
Yeah.
We got. I think. Oh my God, Chris! What we're talking about putting a fence up in the garden? What's rude about that? People have got filthy minds. I mean, haven't they got filthy minds? I mean, I am an innocent young man sitting here talking innocent things, nothing rude. Or people have just got this I don't know what it is. You know. I mean, it's like people seem to misinterpret what I say. I mean, I went into a very nice shop the other day that does material. And I said to the lady, I said, "Excuse me, can you tell me a place where I can get felt?" I mean, that's an ordinary question, isn't it? Where you want felt to put on somewhere, you know? And she's making me around the face. I don't know why, you know. No, she didn't. Right. So, oh, hello. I think we know this person. Hello, Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Hang on, who's this? Some spread lies, others know the truth. Who is who? Hi, Chris. Who the hot honey?
Oh gosh!
Oh my God! Oh my God! Don't tell me, she's getting married soon, and I've got a fantastic wedding present. I've got a sewing machine.
Oh God, no! Keep it. Keep it.
Oh, it's a first-class sewing machine.
You can keep that, Chris.
I bought a sewing machine some time ago, and it's a very expensive. It's cheap, a load of crap, made in China, and it's stamped with a, you know, button. Well, what is it? About 5 of us were looking at it. And nobody can make a breakthrough because it doesn't work. It just wouldn't stitch, would it? It just gone pop, 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 pop. But that's the other thing. And by the way, with your thing with cash, I had a similar. I didn't in a supermarket where every little helps. I won't say what name it is. And and
Name and
I went in to buy some juice, which was 90 pence. And and there's these huge queues at the checkouts, and I thought, well, I'll go around the one where you serve yourself. And it's just everyone was card only. I said, well, I only want to spend 90 pence. Because I've got my £1 here. So, you know, that's it. Anyway, on with the show. And we've been in 15 minutes. We haven't even started the show yet. Right. So off we go. Now, first of all, how did you first get into crystals?
That's a very good question, Chris. So the last show that we did together, I spoke a lot about the healing properties and things of crystals, but I didn't actually really touch on this part of it, which is how I sort of found crystals and how they found me. this is a very, very interesting and pretty awesome story, actually. I'm just seeing some of the jokes that are coming through about your sewing machine one as well. And by the way, you guys are funny, making me laugh here. So I first actually discovered crystals when I was in Florida on a family holiday, and we went into this little shop, and there was these cool, interesting stones, and I was obsessed with anything fossils. I really wanted to be an archaeologist when I was younger, and I wanted to discover things from the ground and dig them up, and I was so interested in fossils and all kinds of like buried treasure, basically. So this store had a bunch of crystals that you could basically, I've still got them here. This is the original bag and crystals. But basically they had these little kind of like fill a bag up for however many dollars. And they just had such amazing names. So there was things like Fool's Gold, Apache Tear, Tiger's Eye. What else is there here? Oh, some interesting ones. Some hematite and rose quartz, and there was just some of them had such interesting names that I was just like, wow, these, like an Apache Tear, what's that about? Like Fool's Gold? That's like a little piece of gold in my hand. Like I was just drawn in by it all, and I just thought that these were fascinating. And I used to carry them around with me randomly, and I didn't know what to do with them. I just looked at them and held them, and I think that's kind of like the point anyway. There are many uses that you can have with crystals, but actually just having them by you is kind of the best thing to do. So I was almost doing it without realizing I was doing it for about for about 7 years. From about 7 years old I was at the time, and I just had this little bag of like little treasured stones, and then they eventually made them work their way into a drawer, and I'd get them out every now and then and have a look at them. And anyway, they laid forgotten for quite some time. And about 2 years ago now, I found them again, and I got them all out, and they just still had the same sort of sparkle to them all those years ago. And it just felt like I needed to have them with me again, and I was drawn to them again. And then my sister actually started to have these parcels turn up in my house. We both lived together at the same time at that time. So she had these parcels delivered, and there was these rocks coming in, as I called them at the time. How disrespectful. I was like, what do you want with all these rocks? So I said, I've just found my bag of crystals. Like, I don't know, like, do they have some sort of like special meaning then? Because all I was fascinated with at the time was like their really cool names. And I didn't really fully understand, the actual information behind it, even though they kind of just felt nice to have with me. And so basically she started to explain to me like, oh, they have healing properties, and having them around you can have this kind of effect on you, and they're all for different uses, and they have so many interesting things that they can do, that they provide protection, healing. They can help you draw things into your life and attract positive things, positive people. Like, there's just so many cool things that crystals can do for you. And then it started to really pique my interest again. And because I'd found this bag as well, I was like, maybe they're calling to me again, and there's some sort of reason for them to be back in my life. So then I started kind of, listening to a few people that were sort of doing presentations and selling crystals and things like that, which is actually how I do a lot of my selling now. But yeah, I just found all the information was just like, oh my God, this is exactly what I needed in my life. I didn't even realize that this is what they had, what they were capable of. And also there's so many different ones, so many different styles, so many different shapes and forms. And I just wanted then to start my own collection properly. And I've now collected way over, probably still over 800 crystals now. So I've got a massive, massive collection of my own. Plus, I've got also all of my own stock. Like the stuff that you can see behind me here is my personal collection pieces on the windowsill. But everything on this table behind me is my selling table. So it's just got all the crystals, and in the shelves that are over here as well. So this is like my crystal room. The energy in is mad. But yeah, and then me and Adrian was walking along, my fiance. There's a river just outside my house. We was having a walk along the river one day and just having a chat and stuff. And And for some reason, there was a particular spot that we both walked towards, and we was talking about something completely random. I can't even remember what it was. And we just decided to stop and look straight down in the river. And the river's like a very long river. And I don't know how at this exact point we decided to stop, but we did. And it was clear as well. And that river at the moment is very murky. So I don't know how it was even clear at the time. But at the bottom of the river, there was a whole pile of crystals. And it was just like, oh my gosh, like what? They're even coming to me now via river. And I feel like that's such a big, I don't know, it's all like how all the biblical stories start, you know, and Moses was on a river and he was delivering to all this stuff, and all this stuff seems to arrive by a river, and lots of stuff in Egypt. And it just felt like there was this moment where I was just like, I found out of all of these spots to stop, I've stopped here. There is a bunch of crystals that are at the bottom of this river. Like, I just feel like I need to collect them out. So we left them there for a few days, managed to find a net because they were so deep. Oh no, it wasn't even a net actually. AD got this like a litter picker kind of arm grabby thing. I can't remember the technical name for it, but he got one of those, and he was a litter picker. Is that what it's called?
I think it is, yeah.
Oh wow, okay. So yeah, he was picking them out one by one, bless him. And the river was quite deep, so his whole arm was in, and he was just like, and I was just trying to stop him from falling in this river. But we saved quite a lot of them, and I've still got them as well. They're in my garden at the moment. I popped them all around my garden as I felt like they needed to be outside still, where I found them. But yeah, there was some amazing crystals in there. There was like big chunks of amethyst and lots of little tiny tumblestones, but some jewelry and things like this. And I have no idea how on earth it ever arrived there. And I have no idea like why I found it and how we even found it, because I've since then looked along that river. I've walked along it many times, and you can barely even see into it, let alone find, you know, things at the bottom of it. But I just felt like there was a reason why I picked, I found them. And since then, I've started a business from it, and it just seems to be like it's my calling, I think. So, yeah, a really, really interesting find. And they seem to, just keep finding me at the moment, which is also super awesome. I think the energy of crystals sometimes works beyond the level of obviously your own logical understanding. So even though I'd love to really understand the reason why, I've had many theories put out there for me. Like some people have said to me that potentially it could have been like me, if you believe in the fact that your life is already kind of panned out for you, and you've already have like all of the details of the most important kind of timescale of what's going to happen in your life before you're born, and then your soul descends to earth. And then this is one theory that somebody was explaining to me. They were saying that potentially I would have already known that they were going to be there, and that's why I went to that spot. And maybe it was like a hint that was left from my higher self that, you know, I placed them there for me to find and use. It could have been any number of reasons.
That's interesting, because the thing that gets me with crystals, I mean, you would not find crystals in a river. That's the last place you'd probably try and find them. Now, should we give you're mentioning your business. Now, I've got this down here. I'm not sure if this is correct. Is that the correct email? Yes. Is it okay to show that? Was too bleeding late now, isn't it?
Too late, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. But it's the Crystal Boutique UK, isn't it?
Yes.
That's your site there, and people can contact you there. Now, the thing is, I've got this theory about crystals. You see, for I don't know if it's hundreds or thousands of years, our ancestors lived in caves, and that's where you find crystals.
Mm-hmm.
And the intro to this show, I believe it's in Iceland. They found this incredible place. Now, I'm probably grabbing at straws here because I'm talking from ignorance. I know very little about crystals. But what I have found, I mean, there was one I was particularly drawn to, and I think you got them out on the table, wasn't it, last Thursday? Because we meet Thursdays and Sundays. And I looked underneath this particular crystal, beautifully carved. It's an elephant. And I saw what I thought was 6 and I thought, £60? Yeah, that's not bad for that. And he said, no, it's £6. I'm like, what? And how cheap they are. you look at something and you'd look at it and you'd think, well, that's worth at least £100. And you say, no, it's £1 or something like that.
Yeah.
They are very, very, I hope I'm not putting your business there or anything like that. They are very reasonably priced and anybody could afford crystals, and they're beautiful. Some of them are really beautifully carved and that by professionals. So I can really recommend Hayley's business because she brings them along to us, and I find them fascinating. I really do. And of course, there's one particular one that's supposed to present, mustn't go, well, it protects you from radiation, but it's from a country that we're not allowed to mention now because that sells vodka, but can't buy it anymore. And you can't order a certain chicken from a part in that place. They've changed the name now. But I think that I've got a stone here. Now I believe you know what this one is.
Yes.
Here it is, and it's got some beautiful. It's the original lavender. It still smells nice, and this is next to my router, and that protects me because that gives off a lot of electromagnetic smog. Mm-hmm. And I'll put that back. Sorry, what is this? I can't remember. It's not.
It's black tourmaline, which is also what I'm showing in my hand here. This is just a bigger chunk of it, but it has this like this kind of layered texture on it. I think yours might have that as well. But also has some amazing sheen.
Yes, it has a beautiful sheen on it.
Yeah.
And I actually put this next to my router to protect me. Now, we did an experiment last Thursday, and like someone, don't know who it was, didn't load the film up. And who could we blame for not loading the film up? I don't know. Anyway, someone took a video, and what we did, there was a power socket, and I've got a machine that measures electromagnetic smog, and we'd be sitting here now, and if you go to an ordinary 13 amp power socket, you get very, very high readings from it, and then you kind of get away by about a foot. That would be about sorry, I speak in old language here, so about a foot or 2 feet away, and it just goes down. And what we did, we put this meter almost up to the power socket, and then I don't think it was it tourmaline, we put that in between, and it just went down, and then lifted it out the way, and up it went again. Now that was a scientific experiment, and when we put your hand in the way, and it was still high, and you move your hand up, and it was still high, but you put, I believe it's this, in between, and it blocked it. And I've actually done experiments here, and it's done the same. And you then put your hand in front, and it doesn't drop the electromagnetic smog. This does. But so we showed it fairly. We said, right, okay, I'm going to put my hand in the front, and it's still high. Move the hand out the way, got the tourmaline, put it in the front, boom, it dropped right down. So it does work. So, and if people say, oh, it's all Fuji, that, well, what's in your watches? What's in digital watches? Crystals, quartz crystals. And also, I believe that some people believe that quartz crystals were on the top of the pyramids. So there's something there. But also with Stonehenge, now the rocks, I'm not sure, they got some rocks from, they dragged them from Wales, didn't they?
I actually have a piece of this stone here this is the stone that's from on Stonehenge. It's called Preseli Bluestone. Yes. But yes, you're right, from Wales.
And how much would that piece sell for on your so we can, people who want it, because they're lovely. If you could shout up to the camera again, I think it's an angel, isn't it?
Yes, this is actually a personal piece, but this is a beautiful piece of mine. I bought this for £9, but I have other angels that are in other materials and things like that, and they range from about 7 to 9 depending on the actual mineral itself. So they're really reasonably priced, and that's quite a big angel, because you can get bigger as well. I've got ones that are this size, and I've got ones that are like this size. So yeah, all different kinds of shapes and sizes. But yeah, not very affordable. I like to make crystals as affordable as possible for everyone. So all of my prices, even if they're quite an expensive price, they're the best price that I could physically do them at, obviously, and run a business. So they're not, I've seen similar crystals of the same quality, for example. If you just have a quick search on the internet, you'll see the average prices that these crystals go for. And some of them are excessive, And that's not to say that the people that are selling them are charging a fortune on top. It might just be that their supplier is charging them a fortune, etc. So there's many variables, and each crystal quality is different. So, you know, but I think the quality of the crystals that I sell versus the price, I've always had the feedback that it's a very good value for money. Cheap's probably not the best word to use, just because it sounds like they're not good quality when they are. They're just very reasonably competitive. Yeah.
Competitively priced, I think, because, as I was saying, we lived in caves years ago, which we were close to crystals. Many of our ancestors must have been very close to crystals.
Mm-hmm.
They must have had something. And there's also healing therapies where they put crystals on you, isn't there? That is very, very ancient, very, very old, because we did an experiment last Sunday, didn't we, with the chi energy.
Mm.
And that was quite incredible, where we was passing like chi. And people think, hang on, he's gone a bit bonkers, has he? But it is, there is something in it. And I think when you look at these crystals, they have got a magical feeling to them. But regarding Stonehenge, my theory of it, I'm not an archaeologist, but my theory is it was actually a public lavatory. People think it's for worship and things like that, but I'm looking at it from an architectural point of view, because I think that the Stone Age Council of that time, they were the ones that put it, you know, had the original idea. And it has to be a council, because who else would build a structure in the middle of nowhere, costs a heck of a lot of money, and where they drag rocks all the way from Wales to there, that nobody would use. So it has to be a council. And I think it was a lavvy, and it had a roof on it, and you could see with a ditch around it. There's a ditch inside. Think about it. Why would you have a ditch inside? That's the Kazi, isn't it? So there's a bit of lavatorial humour there. And if you believe that, you believe anything. I mean, I've been studying archaeology for about a couple of minutes, and but we got a few more in chat here, haven't we? So let's have a quick shufty. Oh, here we go. We've always got some smart ass. Oh, hang on, about a chocolate around the mouth. You know, the bloke with taking off the old what do they call it, rabies. I would have said I couldn't take someone serious with chocolate around his mouth. Maybe it was for he sounds like he was talking a load of shit.
Mm-hmm.
They're bloody morons. Well, what shocked me is how it's like a shark's feeding frenzy of people going against you, and you stood your ground. It should be the other way around. I mean, it's unbelievable, isn't it? It really is. And hang on a minute, we got here. Who's this geezer? ADB. Is that a stitch up, Chris? Yeah, well, yeah. Well, you're getting it as a wedding present, so you know. Oh, isn't this lovely from Chris? Where's the dump? Right. I'm in stitches here. Oh, you're using your thread, Chris. And what's this? Kim, even Hayley's Swiss Army man couldn't fix the sewing machine. No, I actually bought it some years back in a sale, because I wanted to do, you know, the old fancy stitching, you see. And yeah, I do stitch things and that. And I thought, well, that's all right. Reduced from £100 to $49.95. Now I know the reason why, because you can't stitch with it. But you put it on the side and say, doesn't that look nice? You know, quite so. It says here, if we don't laugh, we'll cry. I didn't know it was that bad. Blimey. Right. Inconvenient or not, I would walk out of all shops if card only, and I wanted to pay cash. We have to make a stand. Yeah, I backed down on that on the place where every little helps, because I was so bloody thirsty. I needed a drink. Oh, this is a good one from Kim. It gave him the needle. Oh dear. Ancient wedding.
I think that's the one that I laughed out loud. I nearly burst out laughing on. That's hilarious.
And Angie said, I did try and fix it and took the needle out and felt a little prick.
He's always feeling like that.
Now, this is interesting. We're going back to crystals. Ancient ruby. I was told back in the 80s, you don't look that old, that only ages that only real crystals work on our health. So I have never bought what are selling and can't afford the real stuff. Well, I was drawn to one with an elephant. But have you got your elephants there?
I actually have sold that one that you was looking at already. I think I might have another rose quartz one.
That's all right. No, but you can show you they're beautifully carved. Absolutely, and they're hand carved, aren't they?
Yes, they all are hand carved.
I just looked there.
I've got a little Buddha here, which is hand carved.
That is amazing, isn't it?
But yeah, I've got loads of hand carved stuff, lots of different ones.
Now it says here, our bones are made up of about 70% crystal. I didn't know that. Really?
I guess if you're thinking about the chemical composition of crystals being similar to bones, then yeah, probably that's probably true. I didn't think
it says, what's this? I was bloody freezing. Was you really?
Oh, that's when he put his hand in the river.
Yes. Here we go. And it says here, sorry if I'm missing some of your comments because I can't read them all out because I think we'll be here till next week if we do. Now we got here, Hayley, are they real crystals you found in the river?
Yes. All of the crystals that I found were genuine crystals. They were obviously somebody's own collection or something. I don't know why they were there, but they were all in the river, very strangely. But they're safe now.
Now it says here, oh yeah, so he's backed you up as AD.
Yeah.
That's your hubby soon, isn't it?
Yes.
That's right. I hope you don't mind me saying that. Yes, you don't. Yes, I do. Shut your gob.
No, not at all.
That's all right. Yeah, that's all right. The Crystal Cave is in Mexico, Chris. Oh, sorry, mate. I thought it was in Iceland. Yes, how to make things wrong. So I wondered, hang on a minute, I better cover up a bit of bullshit with it. We wondered who was going to notice that. Is it Mexico? Whoops. And what it was is I saw another film where it's in Iceland. I must have got muddled up, you know.
There's caves all over the world.
Thanks, mate. That's good. No, actually, I like to be correct. If I get something wrong, please correct me. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. But I think that's how people believe my bullshit. Right, Schaldheimer. I was into this stuff in the 90s. I have reservations these days as too much, yes, I would agree here, too much commercial new age destruction of the environment going on as the masses start to believe they can be Merlin. There's a sort of thing. I'll tell you what annoys me with this new age stuff is things from other cultures which weren't intended what they are, like dream catchers and Glastonbury. Hi. It's because I'm sorry to upset people, but a lot of spiritual awakening isn't. It's CIA psyops, because there was a spiritual awakening after World War One, and the spiritual after, and that was Secret Services, and the hippies, CIA. All very nice, peace and love, but it stops revolutions if people are waiting for a spiritual awakening because they're not thinking of, shall we say, blowing the brains out of a psychopath, are they? Putting it politely. Yeah. Right. Now it says here what we got. Ancient ruby. Chris, that is when one knows they are genuine, yet many are not selling genuine out there, which stops me from buying. Now, do you know anything about it? Oh, you must know something about that, Hayley.
Yes. So,
genuine ones and the, you know.
What I can tell you about the crystals that I sell are they are all genuine crystals. There are some crystals out there which are man-made crystals, but they should always be told and mentioned that they are man-made. However, the components that they make them with are natural. So you'll get things like opalite, for example, or you can get goldstone, which is the sparkly blue crystal. I don't have any of it because I actually don't sell it myself. But basically, it's a crystal kind of structure that is then made in a lab. There are a lot of crystals as well, which are lab grown. and you can normally tell the difference between them because they look too perfect, and because all natural crystals, unless they are really, really expensive, like gem grade kind of jewelry looking stuff, they will have imperfections and they'll just have natural characteristics about them that won't make them look so uniformed. But I have seen, even in like the environment that I sell in, I sell mostly on Instagram through live shows, almost a little bit like this, except you don't see my face, you just see my hands looking at crystals and talking all about the properties of them. But in other sellers that I've seen many say the wrong things, say things are natural when they're completely not, say in things that are maybe natural but they have actually been enhanced a little bit, so they go through levels of being heated or radiated to make the colors brighter, etc. And there is a level of all of this going on with certain crystals. However, I try my hardest to find out every single detail I can about a crystal before I sell it. Obviously, the information where I'm getting it from is a trusted source. If they're getting their information wrong, then I will always correct any information. I've never had to do it so far, but I will, if I've ever sold something and then it's been missold and it's been missold to me, I would always pass that information down. I wouldn't just leave that, to chance as, oh, don't worry, hope they didn't notice. So I always highlight if something's been enhanced, if something's not the natural colouring, etc. I will always point that out. But other than that, every single crystal that I own is a genuine crystal, and you can get them at all affordable prices. It depends what kind of quality they are. I've got spheres that are mega high quality, beautiful, big rainbows in them, and they're around, I think they're around £65. That's expensive for a crystal. But I also have spheres of a lower grade, still as beautiful, but just as not as expensive to buy because the quality of them is not as extreme as the higher quality ones. And you can buy them for like £20. And it all depends what kind of crystal it is as well. So if it's a carving, it's more expensive because somebody's had to carve it. And then you can buy little tumble stones, which have just sat in a machine and been tumbled like this, for example. These are around £2 each. So these are great for carrying around for you, pocket size. You can put them in, women like to put them in their bra, for example. You just put them in your pocket, put them in your purse, whatever you want to do. They're really affordable. They're from all the way from £1 to I think £3.50 is my most expensive tumble. And I've got them in so many different varieties. So there's definitely, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to go through anything with you. The easiest way to do that is through Instagram. But if you don't have Instagram, that's no problem. Chris put up my email address, which you can talk to me through. That's no problem as well. Very soon I'll have my website up and running. I just have a lot of things to deal with at the moment. Getting married is one of them. So I'm going to focus on that once that's out the way. Not that I want it to be out the way. But once that's probably halfway through the year, I'll be able to then start focusing on really getting my website up, which will explain all of this. But I quite like the interaction anyway with my customers. So I have no problem talking to you. I'll send you little videos, if I can, through email or Instagram or even Facebook as well. So yeah, just get in touch with me and I'll be happy to help.
There we go. And also, I'll shove your advert on in a few moments, but you've actually got a customer here in a moment. But excuse me, I've got cramp. Oh, that's bad.
Oh no.
And that's it. Oh, sorry about this. I've got terrible cramp.
Crystal.
I think I've got to grab a crystal. Here we go. Oh, it's first time on. Yes, it's a live cramp show.
If you need to take some time, Chris, just I'll
okay.
have a
That's
look.
okay. Now we got here. Where is it? They have to be museum grade, I believe. I don't know about that.
Depends what needs to be museum grade, because they do museum grade all the way up, but all of them have healing properties. You don't have to have a museum grade for the healing, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, I think the thing is, excuse me, I'm just massaging my leg here. Oh, it's agony. We've also got, hello, Sebastian Moran. I would like to order an anti-EMF crystal. Great idea. So he'll be a good customer, and because I know him, he's a mate of mine. And
If you just send me an email, I'll be happy to help however I can, of course.
Okay. And we got here, have you got genuine quartz crystal, Hayley?
Yes.
Yes, that's it. And we got ancient ruby. I'd also like an anti-EMF crystal too, whilst I stretch my leg out. And it says here, and then we got another one here. Right, a friend taught me how to feel the chi energy. I need a bit of chi energy in my leg at the moment. And I might have to take a little bit of time out. Sorry about this, Hayley, to leave it to you. Because
no problem at all, Chris. Honestly,
this is absolute agony. And I haven't had cramp for ages. I'm just rubbing the back of my leg. It sounds a bit, looks a bit funny.
Isn't the salt on your tongue supposed to help as well?
Yes, I've got some Himalayan rock salt. And
so have I. But in a candle form.
Yeah. I'll this crystal. Will this crystal help you at all if I shove it there?
Yeah, it might do. I would definitely try it. Anything
I've
would
just
help.
put it on there, and it does feel. Hang on a minute. It's easing. How weird. How weird. No, I'm not kidding. It is. Good God. It's easing. I'm sorry. This is. If only people could. That's weird. Anyway, my friend taught me how to feel the chi energy in my hands. This is what we were doing on Sunday, wasn't it? It's amazing. Feels magnetic, like when we hold magnets as children in school. The pull. We are so powerful. That's right. That's right. Yes. So that's interesting. And we got here. People always seem to gang up on a loner standing their grounds. Yes, I found that at school. I think I'm going to have to get some rock salt on this, but hang on, put my foot out straight a bit. Was it? You must rub the opposite side, the cramp, haven't you? That's the thing you normally do. This won't go. Oh, come on, go. People shooting in late, thinking, what's wrong with him? This terrible. I think it's what I was doing today. You see, I was up a ladder. Right, here we go. Now, now we got here. What's this? CIA all mad. That's right. And we got Ancient Ruby says, I would love to go into the Mexico cave full of crystal. I would as well. I definitely, yes. And then we got Kim. This is interesting. Is there anywhere other than the country we can't mention that can supply Shungite, Hayley?
So it's actually only found in the country we can't mention. So that's the only place where there is a deposit, which is why the mystery around that crystal is also very, very interesting. But yes, that it's only actually sourced from that location, which is why it's a little bit difficult at the moment. And it's not because, I mean, I might try and see if I can still get my hands on some, because why not? It's just whether or not they're allowing exports from the country into this one. Otherwise, I'm guessing that the supplies from UK suppliers that have already got stock of it until that runs out. Yeah, I think that would be the best place. But obviously, it's the only place actually where you can mine it.
Well, most people standing apart have got a shungite around their neck, haven't they?
Yes, I've got one on at the moment.
Yes. And what is it you were saying in the last show? Soldiers used to wear shungite to protect them from diseases and nasty things. Because am I right in saying, and please correct me, I think I might be wrong, you can put it in water and it helps to purify it a little bit?
Yeah, so the crystals are actually, I've got a whole little bag of them here, which I can just get out. Whoops. Oh, I've thrown them all on the floor.
Oh, sorry, the cramp's just gone now.
Just to show you what I'm talking about, that it's these kind of like metallic-y looking shiny black crystals. So the metallic-y shiny ones are basically the elite noble shungite, which is the highest grade shungite you can buy. And then I've got, for example, a different kind of shungite here, which is a more of a matte finish one. This is in a pyramid form. I have a few of these actually for sale. That one's £7, for example. And that you can put on top of a router. These little ones, which I've made into pendants, which I've got one around my neck here, these are harder to find because they're actually harder to obtain. The deposit is actually only found in Russia, the same as the other one, but it's just the quality.
It's the word. My God.
That's all right. We're not talking about anything distracting.
YouTube, the sirens are going in there. Oh,
sorry. This is the one. I didn't mean to say that. Anyway, sorry.
Russia. Yeah.
So yeah, basically, this is the stuff. This shiny one, as you were saying, that you can pop into water. You can put it in there, I think, for around 24 hours to 48 hours, and it is said to completely purify the water. It is a carbon, so it works similar to like how a carbon filter works, and it basically just takes all the impurities out of the water and neutralizes them in order. And it's said to charge the water as well. And there's a lot of people that say drinking that, drinking a glass of that a day is going to also then help to purify your body, help to release any of the toxins from it, and also help to neutralize any of the bad things that are in your body, flush them out, and just basically give you better overall health. That's obviously not medical advice. Go and see a doctor or whoever your medical practitioner is. Go and see them for proper advice. However, this is what is allegedly said to be the case with Shungite and its powers. There is a lot of scientific evidence actually being built up around it, but there's also a lot that still needs to be done to kind of prove things. I don't know if they'll ever will, because it might kind of go against a lot of the big pharma, whatever you want to say. So yeah, I mean, it's open to interpretation, but yes, you can use it to purify water. They did it to Russian soldiers, and it was in, I think, the 1500s. The whole army was given it as part of their kit. It's really interesting. And also it has these things called fullerenes in there, which is basically, I think, at the moment there's very few chemical structures on Earth that have these fullerenes. They're not found in many places, but Shungite is one of them. And this is the kind of thing, it's like this weird structure. If you Google it, you'll be able to see what it is. But basically, it's just a really kind of out of this world thing that they've not really found. I think they might have just started to find it in a few other places. But basically, this is what makes it so special, because there's nothing else on this Earth that they have found at the moment that is like it. So they're not sure whether it's come to Earth from like a meteorite explosion, or whether it's been deposited here in that area for some sort of reason. Maybe there was some sort of activity going on in volcanic tectonic or whatever at the time, all these million years ago. But the most interesting thing about it, actually, sorry to go off on this rant about it because I'm just very passionate about it, is that it's said to be around, let me just double check the dates, but it's said to be around 2 billion years old. So they've done some tests. They found it to be 2 billion years old. However, if you look at the timeline of events of life on Earth, which is what carbon is basically, it turns into these kind of things. Without life, carbon wouldn't be around. It doesn't really fit in with the whole timeline, because this carbon would have been around before any trees, forests and things would have decayed to make it. So that's also some discrepancies in between. Where has this kind of mystery crystal come from? Were the timelines of history different to ancient history and all the things that happened in the world before all this? Have they got it majorly wrong? Probably. And it's starting to open up new ideas about what our past was actually like beyond what we already know, which is really interesting. And it's just a really cool crystal to have anyway. And it has so many really, really interesting, brilliant things about it. It is one of the more expensive ones, but it's not unaffordable at all, really. Like, as I said, that pyramid was £7. A pendant could be anything between £10 and £20. So it's not unreasonably priced or anything like that. You can get a piece, as to your price budget or whatever. But yeah, it's really interesting stuff.
Have you got many? Is it going to be a case of do you want some Shungite, mate? Got some Shungite. It's going to be like that soon. But have you got much in stock? Yes, and I mean, if someone ordered it, would you have you got stocks, or is it difficult to get?
Yeah, so the pyramids I've got 3 in at the moment. I'm not sure if I can get any more, but I get them from a wholesaler in the UK, so that might be a little bit easier. But the pendants I have stock in. I just need to make the pendants, so they're not actually ready to sell yet. But I have them in, so hopefully I can make some of those in the near future if anyone was interested.
What
But
about just Shungite on its own, you know, without it?
so yeah, if anyone just wanted a chunk of it, I've got some chunks, little chunks. It wouldn't be massive, but I do have sort of little, what they call tumble sizes, which is just little things.
That's nice.
Yeah. So this is just in the little bags. This whole bag is what you'd use to purify your water with. You'd need quite a few pieces of it to purify water, but I can have a look at trying to see if I can get some bags in for water purification and things like that. I don't have these, but could potentially get them if people were interested anyway. But there's these things that go on the back of your phone. I've actually got one on the back of mine. There's stickers. Oh, that's a camera. Sorry, trying to point. This is a Shungite sticker, which you can use. And they also do like rectangle ones you can put on laptops and stuff. These I'm out of stock of at the moment. This is just my own personal pieces, but I might be able to get some if people are interested. So just let me know if that's something you are interested in. There would be a couple of quid.
Well, you can put me down for one, please.
Okay.
So I'd like one. Thank you very much. Sure. You can put that down. Now, I think, hang on, this is the question we asked, wasn't it? Kim, is there any other country? No, you can't. But yeah, we did that. Now, this is interesting. This next one is, excuse me, it's all right, it's gone again. So it's got a bit of cramp. I'm terribly sorry. This is the cramp show, the agony show. Right. Louise, someone throwing out crystals may have had bad luck from them. My mother-in-law threw out a huge collection years ago because someone had put what she called a witch's stone in the collection. Now I'd like to add something to that. I knew someone that I think was what do they call it, possessed by something nasty. And when I got a dear friend of mine gave me a crystal, because unfortunately she's passed away now. I said, look at this. Get that away from me. Get it away from me. And it was really, Bennett, don't get that near me. Why would this innocent stone that was given with love have such an effect on a person? I wonder if anybody else has ever heard that. Have you ever heard that before? And it was so marked that it was like a fear. Oh, just get it, you know. It's just an innocent stone. I don't know what's happened to it now, and it's strangely enough, it's disappeared. I don't know where it's gone. It's weird, isn't it?
I've not had that experience myself. Well, to tell a lie, there are certain crystals that I actually don't like the look of myself, and I've only just started to actually source some, but I can't source certain colours of it. And I think what they say is if you're actually put off by anything, if something really makes you feel disgust towards it, it's actually something that probably doesn't work with your energy well, and therefore you actually do need it the most, because it's probably got some healing there that you're trying to resist from, and that I think is what's happened to me in this certain stone that I'm kind of a bit like, well, but a lot of people love it, and it's just I think personal preference. However, I think the situation you were talking about there may have been something to do with what they potentially thought the crystal was about. You know, there's some very odd stories, you know, about things that can apparently live in a crystal, and, you know, like they can capture spirits and things. That's nothing that I believe in at all. But I don't dismiss that idea. If anyone else does, that's, you know, your own prerogative. But that's just not how I look at it. So I wouldn't ever sort of feel fearful from the crystal. But yeah, strange. Maybe it was the healing that it could have been provided that it didn't work.
It was a very, very odd experience.
Yeah,
this was sent with love from a dear friend of mine. Unfortunately, my dear friend died, and this sort of, it was like an entity. It was like, get away, and I thought, that's very weird. And we got, apparently, it says here, apparently you can get your loved one's ashes made into a diamond.
Yeah.
So there we go. Now this is an interesting one from Ancient Ruby. Then I will be visiting. Well, no, it's mail order only, isn't it? Shop Hayley. have you anything that helps migraines? Thank you. Well, the only time I think you can sort of say it's a shop is when we meet on Thursdays and Sundays,
Yeah.
isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
You don't really have a shop as such. So you want to come along and see us on Thursday or Sunday? Charlie, you don't eat me and that. Oh, it's not him. But I don't come out with dirty jokes, do I? No, I'm very innocent like that.
No,
Now,
he's so well behaved.
Now we got here. I found out that the band Killing Joke were formed. This is Emin, formed at the Tavistock Centre. Jazz Coleman, the singer, said so himself, and that he knew a lot of behavioural scientists. I still think they're a good band. Well, the Beatles were Tavistock because they own the, I believe they own most of the performing rights and that. And what was his name? Michael Jackson tried to buy up some of the Beatles' rights to the songs. Right. Now, do you think it's time, Hayley? What do you think? An advert, or shall we honour our dear leader? What do you think?
I just don't want to leave. There was one question there in the.
I'm terribly sorry. Okay, where was it?
It was just that I think there was a question about.
Hang on, I missed it. Anything
that helps migraines? The answer is yes.
I'm terribly sorry. Yes, that helps and also, have you got any that helps depression as well?
Oh, I have many that help depression. I think crystals in general are great to have around you because they actually do lift your vibration, which is said to help with low moods and things like that. So basically all crystals are great for any feeling like low mood and depression, but there are specific ones that help
good
with
for
it.
That's one is. Seriously.
Sorry, what was that, Chris?
Well, when I put this under my leg, because it's the muscle under the leg.
Yeah.
When I put it there, it might have been psychosomatic, I don't know, but the cramp went.
The thing is, if it is psychosomatic and it works, then it's working. Somewhat. It doesn't matter.
It certainly worked. And this is not sugar. It's oh, blimey, you did tell me, didn't you?
It's black tourmaline.
Black tourmaline.
Yeah.
So if you've got cramp and you've got black tourmaline, shove it where the muscle is, because if you've got cramp, you massage the opposite side of the cramp. You don't do it on the cramp. You do it the opposite side. Says me being psychic. Right. So have you got anything that helps migraines?
So I do. I suffer with migraines, but mine aren't curable by crystals, fortunately. But so I will say that there are a lot of people that have migraines that use crystals and they work successfully. But from my own personal experience, mine is more of like a hormone imbalance. So mine actually, like a crystal, can't help with things like that. So I wouldn't want to oversell it and say like 100%, but there are definitely crystals that I've got which you could try and see if they do help, and hopefully they do for you. But obviously, if it's something that's more like a chemical thing in your body, then obviously it might not work as effectively.
That's interesting. Now for depression, I think you'd have to get a tipper truck lorry from me.
You'd be surprised.
Right now. In this nice, you've got congratulations on getting married.
Thank you. Thanks.
And I will email you. Well, on your wedding day. Will you hang on a minute? We've got an email here. Right. What on earth is this? Got Emmon says nanocarbon in the jibby jabbies. Right, here we go. But if people would tune in to see if the cramps got better next week, wouldn't they? But we got the right fella on next week if I got the cramp, because we've got a special guest next week, and I'll be announcing it at the end of the show. Now, congratulations, Hayley. I hope you and your new husband have many happy years.
Thank you. Thank you, Louise. That's very kind.
Now, what do you think?
We have an advert, Chris? I sort of sidetracked you there. You wanted to do an advert.
Yes. Now, what should we do? Should we do an advert? Should we do your advert, or should we honour our gracious leader? Well, I know what we'll do. We'll do your advert, and then we'll have to honour our gracious leader. Is that all right?
Yeah,
right.
No problem.
So, here we go. And I bet you I pressed the wrong one. Here it comes. Oh, hang on. Right. Ladies, do you like dangly things? Gentlemen, do you like round things that you enjoy touching? Well, why not contact the Crystal Boutique? Because the Crystal Boutique has a full range of crystals that will suit every taste. Yes, contact the Crystal Boutique UK at gmail.com, and remember, their crystals are competitively priced, plus you can also receive a wealth of knowledge from the proprietor. So why not contact the Crystal Boutique? When contacting them, please remember to tell them where you saw their advert. Thank you very much.
Yay!
Hey! Now, before we go any further, would people like to honour our gracious dear leader? I better show a photo of our gracious dear leader, and here he is. Yes, I don't think I've got a sick bag big enough. What do you think? A sick bucket? Definitely. So here we are. So please stand to attention if I can find the bloody thing. Where here it is. So remember, we've got to salute now, and this is to our dear and gracious leader. Yes, when I put that on, yes, here we go. When I put that on the other week, John Hayley was absolutely disgusting. That is bloody disgusting. Well, I can't really take off his accent because he's Yorkshire, you know. Bloody Southerners putting stuff like that on, it's just typical, that is. But before we go any further, I better give a little call out. We'll finish the adverts now, but to Richard and Vicky, who do yoga and who've kindly made a contribution towards the program. Thank you very much. So I'm going to feature them on here. And on the 22nd, there's a fantastic thing they're putting on, which I can't mention too much because it's YouTube, but it's about, shall we say, what makes us ill. So it's quite interesting. So here we go. Hello. If you don't want to meet people like this, dressed in leotards and acting strangely, or if you don't want people that do things like this, then why not go along to Yoga Hearts? You can see the website just here, advertised at the bottom of the page, for jolly nice people. Or telephone 07463 021 512. And remember to tell Vicky, who runs the class, where you saw this advert. Thank you very much. And we've had a lot of flatulence in the last couple of minutes. People think it's an advert for baked beans, weren't they, or something? So here we go. Now, the thing is, let's go back into chat because we got some, hang on, we've got here, Ancient Ruby, cramp, drink more water, Chris. I have severe cramps. Well, I think what it was, I was up a ladder today, and whenever I climb up ladders, I get the cramp. I was lifting fences up, and, you know, I didn't take any offence, though. So here we go, there it is. So we, that's it. This is Michelle Smethurst, and oh, hello, Sebastian. He'll be a good customer. It's old Sebastian. Oh, you're all right, mate. Sorry, I haven't spoken to you on the phone for a long time, but he's good, mate. Here we go. And Kim, she's had a good laugh there. Oh, hang on a minute. Magnesium is good for cramp. Yes, I'm going to take an extra magnesium tonight. And this is alluding to our guest next week. I think you know who it is, Hayley, don't you? Yeah. So, but we keep waiting, sure, till the end with rotten sods like that. Now we've got here. There
was a few comments further down, actually.
Yeah.
I think someone said big claims, any evidence. So I think that was about the Shungite purifying water, because then also somebody said 2 comments above that, purifies the water, low, FFS. So if that's if you wanted to know if there was any claims, any evidence regarding that, there have been some scientific studies which you can find the reports from the actual study, not just the generalization of the study. Obviously, it's not a study I've conducted because I'm not a scientist, but also the people that have done it. I think there's been 2 or 3 different tests that have been done on the actual mineral, and carbon is actually a well-known purifying filter. So a lot of the filters in water bottles, in a lot of the actual water filter, gravity-fed water filters as well, they're all mostly with carbon filters. So it's not a ridiculous claim, but also there are a lot of evidence as well. If you go onto Google, you can find that evidence for yourself. So it's not just me just saying it. It's stuff that I've actually researched into. And it's quite, there's a lot of stuff coming out about it. The guy who actually found out about it won a Nobel Peace Prize. So there's a lot of information around it. However, I know that all of these things are kind of not exactly, some of them are page trials and things like that, and they're not independent. But I do believe that there have been some independent trials done as well. So it just is a case of basically having a look into it and seeing what you think and making your own mind up. And I would always say that about anything. I wouldn't say you need to believe what I'm saying. I encourage everyone to go out and make up their own minds about things. And also, if you find challenging evidence to things that I'm saying, I have no problem with anyone coming forward and helping me understand your point of view. You know, I'm an open-minded person. I'm definitely not a narrow-minded person. And I also believe that's how we all learn. And it's good to have good debates. So I'm totally open to kind feedback.
That's right. And we do get kind feedback, and I like people to correct me if I'm wrong, because we're not all get it correct. Like that, for instance, I thought it was Iceland, but it wasn't. And things like that. And I think that's good, and people are very polite. And you know, it's in chat. We've got very good, very knowledgeable people, and I've got lots of advice here about cramp. Thank you very much, and I do read all your comments, so I'll be going through them. Thank you very much, but I hope you don't think I'm rude if I missed them out, because this is a program about crystals. But it's very kind of you. Don't get me wrong. And one question I've actually got, you know, that amongst us people we know, there's like 2 sections. There's the with water filters, there's the zero water filters, which I'm a member of. I bought a zero water filter, and then there's the ones that buy the Berkey water filters, which are American and very expensive. Now the water around here is so bad, I think it must be one of the most worst. It's about 320 to 340 parts per million, which is pretty high. And zero water filters only last about 3 weeks here. Now, I'm not saying that Shungite would actually make it last longer. What I'm looking at is, as it takes everything out, there's no minerals in that water at all. I'm wondering if a bit of Shungite in the bottom of the in the bottom of the filter, or at the top of the filter probably, would at the bottom of the filter. Occasionally dunking a bit of Shungite in, or leaving it there for an hour or 2 and taking it out. I wonder whether that would make any difference. Would it put anything in, any positive charges? I don't know. Am I talking rubbish? Don't know. Is it a don't know? No?
Say that again, sorry.
Well, zero water filters take everything out. And the reason I bought a zero water filter, because it takes fluoride out. With a Berkey, you have to buy extra filters.
Yeah, you do. That's correct.
And so, and what I do, because you know they're quite expensive, only 3 weeks they last around there because the water's so bad. I actually use a what are those Brita water filters. I've got an old Brita, so I'll pour it through a Brita water filter, and then from a Brita I go into and I've made it last about 4.5, 5 weeks doing it that way. But what I'm thinking, looking not at the filtration at it, but with zero water, you literally get zero in it. Whereas normally water runs over minerals. Well, natural water runs over minerals and that. And I'm wondering whether Shungite, if you put that in, it might put something back into the water. You know, it's just a thought, you know.
Yeah,
that might be I've got the cramp because I've got no minerals in the water.
Yeah, that's what someone said, I think, to put some minerals back in the water. To be honest, I think that it's something to have a look into and, see what you could find. I wouldn't know the answer, so.
Well, that's interesting. And ancient river. I just bought Shungite from Ireland. Well, obviously it's from Russian comrade for water purification. I got a little island there. Oh, hey. Now this is something we're going down here. Have you got any? Because I think you can see. Hello, we got the Lul's boat purifies the water. Oh well, yes. I wouldn't say it can help. Because remember,
I don't think they're being very kind, that person, this evening. I've just looked at some of the comments, but I mean,
okay, sorry.
I think no, it's okay. It's okay if
Low's boat's
if you
right,
don't think the same way. That's absolutely fine.
That's perfectly okay. No, Low's boat's okay. Don't worry. But now, Michelle Smethurst, I am a distributor of what's this? Enagic Kagan water. Never heard of it. Have you? Japanese. Is it? It's a bit like the water around here. It's all been passed by the local council, I think. Sorry. A Japanese medical grade, 50-year-old established company. If anyone wants details from me, it's amazing. Oxidized, alkalized, pH balance, amazing for toxins, etc. Well, if you could shove your contact details in the chat, I'm sure we'll be I'll shove it up on the screen if that's all right. So I don't know anything about this, so that would be fine if you could do that. I don't mind. Right.
There was somebody who had a mention about they had to wash their Shungite before because it was dirty and it looked like it had dust on top or something like this. I'm sure I've just read there's a comment, and you're worried about whether or not. Oh yeah, it looked like coal. Now, when you get Shungite that's like this, which is not the elite Shungite, even the elite Shungite, it will leave black deposits on your hand, and that is actually what it will do. After a while, if you wash it, it will eventually stop. And when you handle it a few times, it will stop. But basically, that is a natural thing that Shungite actually does. It will, even the elite stuff. When I've pulled it out of deliveries, my hands are covered in black. So it is actually part of the Shungite. Don't worry about whether or not it was fake, because there is a way to test it. I'll show you right now how you can test whether you've got real Shungite. This might help people. So if you grab a piece of Shungite and you grab a phone that has a scrollable screen on it. So what I mean by that is, let me just pick up a Google page. I Googled something. I don't know if that's too bright for people to see, probably. Let me turn my screen brightness down. So this is a Google page. All you have to do is push the Shungite on, and if it scrolls the page with just the crystal, so it's not my finger, it's the crystal moving. If it scrolls the page, that's genuine Shungite. If it doesn't, and the page just stays where it is, let me just try this one, for example. This is not Shungite, so it won't move the page. This is, so it will scroll the screen up and down. That is how you can test whether you have real Shungite. So that should also work with the pyramids here. It's a bit awkward because of the shape of it, but it will scroll the page.
Yes, we can see that. Yes, that's
so brilliant. That is a test that you can do. It's very simple and quick to see whether or not you've got genuine Shungite.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. What's this? It's got here. I have a huge. This is Louise. Hello, Louise. I have a huge tub of all sorts that were given to me, but all I found is they gather loads of dust. They do not work for anything they are meant to. Sorry, that's my experience. Well, you're perfectly open to your experience. You're very polite about it, but that's fine. We don't mind. That's perfectly okay. Now we got here. Now it's got here Sean Hamer, no relation to John Hamer. The New Age cult, New Earth, is a mass grave in the making. People think it's negative to scrutinize New Age methods and practices, but in reality, it is a spiritual service to everyone. I would say that it's my personal view is it's wrapped up with ideological subversion in the CIA. So that's the way I look on it. It's a very, very in-depth thing, would be for another program. So, but that's another thing. And sorry about the ding dings on him. Go away. That's it. Right. Now what we got? What's this? Paul Green. You can't visit the cave in Mexico. The atmosphere in there is unhealthy. Strange. That's interesting. Now, Kim says, "Save me one, Hayley, please." Save me what?
I think we should probably move on the chat now. I think this is.
Oh, it's an old chat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. There's somebody put here. There's a lot of controversy around moldavite.
Yeah. So moldavite is a very expensive crystal, because it's not actually even a crystal. It's a tektite, which is said to have happened as a meteorite was impacted with the Earth. It then caused the chemical reaction when it exploded. Like, everything was thrown up into the air, and it was very hot, and it cooled very quickly, so it made a kind of glass. And this glass is called moldavite. It's said to have very, very. I've got some moldavite, and it has had an effect on my life. But there are people that are going onto TikTok, they're going onto social media platforms, and they're talking about how it's ruined their life and all of this stuff. It's clickbait stuff. It's just stuff to, I think that coincidence, bad thing, I don't know, whatever it is. I don't even know if half it's real. I think it's just for them to get views most of the time. It's also pushed the price of moldavite up ridiculously, and it's so expensive to find. And a lot of the Chinese and other countries are making fake versions of it because it's just a green glass. So it's very difficult to find genuine moldavite, and I won't touch it because I wouldn't know if what I was getting would be genuine enough at the prices. So it's just something that I don't have and don't really want to. There's plenty of people out there that are selling it, so.
Well, not only that, it is clickbait. I mean, I am sick of seeing free energy. You get someone get a smart plug and wind some copper around it and saying that they're powering a light bulb with it. It's just clickbait, because you can't get free energy from a spark plug. Now, it says here, Michelle Smithers, the agencies over the years have silenced some holistic approaches. Look at, well, I won't read the name out because of obvious reasons, but yes, I agree with you there, Michelle. That's spot on, and what we got? Well, now this is an interesting one. Now, so they don't work for chemical imbalances. Most problems with the body are based on chemical imbalances. Mental health, most definitely, is chemical imbalance. Some is, some isn't. It can be emotional. It can be all kinds of things that can cause it, And now we got here. What's this? If someone who's had one of what? Bill Pricks wore the right crystal, would they pick up the local radio station? Well, there was a crystal radio, wasn't there? They called it Cat's Whisker radio, and that was made out of. I think they use crystals in that crystal set. Have you heard anything about the crystal sets, radios? They use crystals?
No, I haven't. No.
Now we got here. Now,
if anyone wants to know any more information about crystals, there are some really interesting books that I definitely could recommend as well. But other than that, I think I might just call it a night, Chris, if that's all right, because there's a few things that I've seen in chat which I think I'm not quite sure if I can just sit here and carry on.
Oh, I understand. I'm sorry if someone's been rude in there, and I do apologize, because normally we have some very nice people in here, and I can understand that. Now, the thing is, there was some, before we go, there's a person that's actually, I just saw it, it's very interesting. They're saying that they put a crystal, where is it? In their, but here we are, Suru, for info, I have Shungite in my Berkeley water filter. I think that's the English version because it's the Berkey and is it Berkeley? The water tastes fantastic. I have to drink pure water because I have CKD. I don't know what that is. I'm terribly sorry. I don't know what that is. Yes, that's interesting. Yes. Right. And now, right, we got some here. Anyway, hang on. That's Kat Holsworth. She's always good. Hello, Kat. Chemical imbalance is a big fat lie. There is actually no test for chemical imbalance, but it's just something psychiatrists say in their fraudulent approach. Yes, because I actually believe crystals do work because we've been with crystals for a long time. One thing what I'd like to discuss before we go is how they actually form, because I incorrectly thought there was something to do with stalagmites and stalactites in caves, but I believe that's wrong. Is it, you know?
That's not wrong. That's one way they do form, yes. But they form mostly through volcanic activity and movement within the earth. They form in caves through stalactites and stalagmites, so you are right. And they form under high pressure within inside the earth's molten layer underneath the crust. And then they actually get pushed up into the crust. And then that's why you dig down and you mine them and you find them in caves. And also underground in mines where people have made the mines. But yes, that isn't the wrong way.
And also, as there's obviously different areas, is there I mean, all right, we know that we keep on about Shungite, which is a certain area in another country, but is each country noted for types of crystals where they come from? For example, Great Britain. I mean, do we have our own crystals? So if you had a map of Britain, you say, well, get this crystal from there, 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 and there. It's a bit like most things, you know.
Yeah, you can get certain crystals that only from the UK. There's a mine called, I don't know if the mine's called the St John's, but basically there's a Blue John's fluorite, basically, that you can only find in certain places in the UK, and it's very expensive to buy. And there isn't much of it in the market, actually. So it's a very sought after crystal, but you can find crystals on beaches and things like that, especially amber. It washes up on the sea, on the coast, especially around the Norfolk area and Suffolk, and also in Cornwall. It's said to have washed up a lot of amber, which isn't actually crystal, but it's part accepted in the part of the crystal world.
That is a mystery, isn't it? There was the amber rooms. I don't know where it was. And in World War II, they completely disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to them. Because amber, you get insects sort of trapped in the amber, supposed to be so many thousand years ago. But going on to a different sort of subject, I think the name is Fomenko, as a Russian mathematician who believes, and you can see some of his lectures on YouTube, but the only trouble is it's in Russian and you've got English subtitles, and I don't know a word of Russian, and he gets a bit you have to keep reading the subtitles, but it's fascinating because he believes we've got archaeology all wrong and things happen more recently, including the Egyptians he reckons were around in the 14th century and things like that. It's very, very interesting. And now what have we got here? Now, this is a nice question. This is Suru. Not question. Hayley, you are very informative. Ignore rude comments. Yes. They ought to know better. I bought my granddaughter's gift set from you at Christmas and she loves it. Oh, yes, because I actually, what I look at is trolls don't upset me. They don't bother me because I realise they're people with mental illness. So I feel sorry for them. So before I delete them, I usually sort of I feel sorry for them because who goes around criticising complete strangers? If they don't like what we're talking about, they just switch off. So what, And I get a lot on BitChute, believe it or not. But they don't bother me. I think it's probably because I've been a contract bloke. And you just get thick-skinned, There's rude comments, you just bounce off, so it doesn't really matter about there. Right. Right. Okay, dokie. I think we can wrap this up now. Thank you very much for coming on, Hayley, and please come on again. And don't worry about comments in the chat, because you sometimes get rude people, but they've got a problem. And I think if we pretend healing thoughts to them and love and kindness to people who are rude, then we're, including my phone that keeps dinging, okie dokie. So that, and I think that we can just, that's the way I look on it, you know.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
the other thing is, next week, the mystery guest, guess who it is? It's Miles from, and I'll be a bit smug and put his card up. Here it comes. There it is, from Abbey Health Foods. It's Miles Fleetwood. He's coming on, kicking and screaming, and and the title of the show is, if I can find it, is the vitamin and mineral crisis. So that's interesting. And the week after, the name of the show is Earsplitten Laudenboomer. What? It's Earsplitten Laudenboomer. And you're going to have to find out what that's about. I'll leave that a little bit as a little teaser. Well, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Come back again. And again, please don't be upset by any comments in chat, because that happens, and that means you'll send peaceful, loving thoughts to people that have got problems where they can't express themselves without being rude. So that's their problem, and let's hope we get some positiveness in their life, because they've got a lot of negative energy in their life. So that's the way I look on it. And remember to ding that little bell, ding, 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 and also put the old thumbs up like that, you see. And whatever happens, have a laugh. And we'll see you next week with Miles Fleetwood. And oh, by the way, if you've got any questions about vitamins and minerals, you know, sort of, you know, we don't want to know about your granddad's wooden leg, but it's vitamins and minerals. Thank you very much, and
Thank
good night.
you.